So today we're looking at a pair of headsets from Antlion, the Kimura Solo and the Kimura Duo. Now I know what you're thinking, Antlion, isn't it pronounced Antlion? No, who'd be dumb enough to think that? I'm gonna go with the one that makes me feel better when I say it, which is Antlion. So anyways, Antlion was inspired to name this the Kimura after the Kimura lock, or also key lock in jiu-jitsu. And that's where you take somebody's arm and you bend it and you wrap it around to put torque on the shoulder. Here's a little extra lesson for the day. Here's the WikiHow of how to apply the Kimura lock on somebody else. Maybe if you want to do it, you're going to find somebody to properly instruct you so you don't end up in the wrong spot of the internet. Since you're looking for a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, you're going to search BJ. In the box, you get the headset, and you'll notice aesthetically that the only difference between the Solo and the Duo is the fact that the Solo has a red plate while the Duo has blue. You get 3 additional sizes of earbuds to attach to your in-ear monitors to ensure the best fit. You get an adapter to turn your headphone and microphone jack into one individual jack. You get instructions, and you get a handy-dandy little carrying case. And let's be honest, this is the carrying case right here. If you're traveling somewhere, if you've got a gaming laptop or something like that, you're going away for a little bit, you'd much rather have something like this in your bag than something like this, especially when you're traveling stuff. These are more expensive. They're going to get broken on you. So the big question becomes, why are there 2 different headsets? What's the difference between the Solo and the Duo? Well, the Solo has a single dynamic driver in the IEMs, whereas the Duo has the dynamic driver and a balanced armature driver. So what are those 2 different things? The dynamic driver is one that's more typical that you'll find in headphones. It carries a wider frequency range, but is really good, especially with low frequencies, so you get a really good bass boost out of it. Whereas the balanced armature driver, which is actually typically used in hearing aids, it's more optimized for specific frequencies, and it's a lot better at higher frequencies, so it's really good for vocals, hence being used for hearing aids. So while the Solo is designed to give you kind of a more typical good sound, the Duo is designed to give you a much more well-rounded experience, especially when you're gaming, because you're going to have all the big sounding things that happen, but then all the little small things that happen, speaking out of the distance or footsteps, things like that, you're going to hear those a lot better. Okay, so now to put these on, these are the Solos that I have in my hand right now. I'm pretty bad at this, so you might watch me fast forward or skip over some of this, but you just fit it in the ear. This part here actually is flexible, so you can shape it to your ear, not somebody else's. And then the other side. So now you can start to see why they call this the Kimura. You can see how tightly it actually comes around my face, and you can actually see that it's not going anywhere. I shake my head, they don't even remotely come loose. Now when you want to actually hook them up to something, if you're hooking up to a PC, you've got the 2 cables that come out of the end here. I could appreciate that they made this a little bit shorter too, the separation. I would have gone even shorter myself, like almost half the length, but some of these can get pretty long and it can create for a tangly experience, but this is actually pretty decent. You'll also notice some color coding on the ends of each tip here to kind of match what you'll typically see on a PC in terms of the input colors. So you've got your headphones and your microphone, but you'll also see symbols for headphones and microphone on here as well. Now, if you're doing something like you're using a gaming laptop, which typically only has 1 jack, not 2 separate ones, or if you're plugging into a console, you're playing on Xbox and you're plugging into the controller, or you're plugging into a Switch or something like that, you then take the adapter that came with it and you plug it into the appropriate slots, and then you just plug one thing in. But I also wanted to give you the opportunity to hear what this sounds like, because not only is this what other gamers are going to hear if you're on chat with them, but if you're on somebody else's stream, this is what their chat's going to be hearing as well. Just some other things worth noting, this does have a little clip, so you can clip this down to your shirt so you can keep it from kind of riding up. It does tend to twist a little bit. You notice it's kind of got a little necktie going on here. That's not a huge deal, but just as a fan of wireless headsets overall, I would love to see the Kimura wireless come into play someday, because as you would have seen in my review of the Antlion Mod Mic wireless, I love the concept of being able to get up and move around and talk to people while maintaining decent audio quality and not getting caught up in cables. So the sound from the microphone leaves something to be desired. Not a huge surprise. You look at the size of the microphone, that's more Ant than Antlion, and a smaller capsule's just not going to pick up as good a sound. That's science. It's also why if you saw my review for the Antlion Mod Mic wireless, the sound was quite a bit better coming out of that microphone because it was a considerably bigger capsule. So I've had a chance to game using both models, and I have noticed the differences that they lay out in their own advertisement. The Solos are perfectly fine for any video game experience, but the Duos are definitely providing a little bit more of that vibrance and presence that you're looking for. Especially I'm playing something like Fortnite and I'm listening to footsteps around me, like I mentioned before, or I'm playing something like Hogwarts Legacy and I can hear the dialogue of the different students all around me a lot more clearly. So let's talk a little bit about comfort. These guys, in-ear monitors, not always the most comfortable thing for gaming, especially if you're doing any extended gaming. That's really a preference thing, but the improvements that they've made on comfort plus the actual trade-offs for headphones are pretty interesting. So the first thing, like I said, this flexibility, instead of having this be like a one-size-fits-all, usually you can move them around a little bit, but this one is full on flexible. But the other ones that are just kind of flexible will always be pushing in on you if you don't have the right ear shape. So that definitely helps. Being able to keep this microphone really nice and tight to your face, also good because you don't have anything kind of sticking out. You know, you get something sticking out and you can just kind of see it at the corner of your eye, and that's really bothersome. Well, that's not happening. Obviously, taking the time to pick the right size of earbuds to put in your ear in the first place is going to be important because that's going to affect how long you can keep those things comfortably in your head. But the trade-off of actually using headphones, they're too hot on your ears sometimes if you're playing extended times. If you don't have a really good breathable set of headphones, your ears are roasting by the end of it. So you don't have to worry about having sweaty, gross ear pads on your head all the time. You just have something simple like this. So looking at the Kimura Solo and Duo from the perspective of a gamer, very successful. They're very comfortable for being an in-ear monitor headset. They've gone to great pains to make sure that it feels good on you. The audio quality is really good on both of them, and they made them super portable. Now, because I do this with literally everything, I think about it as a broadcaster. I would avoid these at all costs as a broadcaster. The microphone quality just isn't there. But again, that's not a knock on Kimura because that's not what it was designed to do. It's just how this brain thinks. Well, let's talk about price. The Kimura Solo comes in at $138 US, and the Kimura Duo comes in at a price of $207 US. Now, that is a pretty hefty difference between the two, but again, adding the second driver to the Duo was definitely going to cause a price jump. So the question is, which of these two is right for you? If you're not a super serious gamer, you just like to hop on and play around and stuff like that, skip the Duos altogether and just go with the Solos. They're going to be perfectly fine for anything you're going to want to do. If you're taking your gaming seriously and you're playing a lot of ranked Call of Duty or something like that, you may want to have a look at the Duos and spending the extra money because, like I said, you're going to hear everything that goes on around you a whole heck of a lot better. So as long as you're willing to invest that money in something that would be strategically advantageous over the Solo, then definitely check out the Duos. If you're interested in either of these headsets, I'm going to put links down below. And while you're scrolling down there anyways, make sure to hit the like and subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I have new videos coming out or when I have streams coming up. And if you're in that kind of a giving mood anyways, why don't you just hop over to my gaming channel, Miscast Play, and do the same. Like, subscribe, bell. I know I'd appreciate it. And if you want to scroll further down still, go ahead and leave a comment on the video. Let me know what you think about these headsets. Let me know what you would look for in the ideal headset, both as a gamer and a broadcaster. Or just leave me your favorite Simpsons quote. I don't care. It's all engagement. It's all gonna give exposure to the channel. And if you just can't get enough of this, well, why don't you check out these videos? This one here is a recent one that I did, and here's that Mod Mic wireless one that I talked about earlier. And we'll catch y'all next time, but until then, let's get to work.